Welcome to Rack of the Week 196. As usual, first off, I want to say thank you to all of my supporters on Patreon and YouTube. They are John, Christian, Rick, Tom, Brian, Chris, James, John, Corby, RJF, JNS, Richard, Michael, another Richard, Indian Heathen, Charlie, Ken, Rainier, Fred, and Christopher. Thank you for your support. This is the very first video, Rack of the Week video that I'm recording after returning from the 14-1 championships in Florida. By the way, if you haven't seen it, I did a live stream Friday night with guest host Little Chris, and we talked about the 14-1 tournament. It's a little over 2 hours. We talk about the pros, we talk about my matches, and get into several topics related to pool and the mental game and how to play better pool. I put together a comprehensive index so you can look at the topics in the description of that video. I'll put a link to that video in the description of this video, so go check it out. It's one of my first, I would call it a podcast where we have a discussion, so check it out on Shorts Up on Pool. Congratulations to the winner, Mario He. As you can expect, I'm going to want to show a Rack of the Week of the winner of this year's championship, and I might do that next week or the week after. I'm going to change things up a little bit. I could also choose to do a Rack of the Week and feature Max Lechner, who took second place in the tournament. And I think he had a better tournament than Max did, even though they both finished the tournament with a 7-2 record. I'll talk about that in the future. But actually today I'm going to feature another player that you may or may not have heard of. And he used to be a junior and is now a WNT touring pro. I think he's 18 years old, or he might still be 17. We often talk about the future of pool in America. There is a juniors program in America, and one of the stars that's coming out of that program is Sam Henderson. And the reason why I'm going to feature him in this week's Rack of the Week is during the round robin of the straight pool tournament in Florida, he beat the eventual winner of the tournament, Mario He. So that's quite an accomplishment. Sam put together a nice run of several racks early in the match. This is one of the racks from that run. As you can see, he's got a pretty good break shot. It's a little bit high and outside, but he's got a great angle on it. And I always talk about being inside of the parallel line. It's really funny if you watch some of the matches from that tournament. Mike Siegel was commentating a lot of the matches this year, and he calls this the Siegel line. We'll let him have it. And so the cue ball's inside of the Siegel line or the parallel line. I've talked about this many times. The ghost ball is actually over here on the other side of the parallel line. So doing this gives you a really nice angle for that object ball into the pocket, but it gives you a really nice angle where the cue ball retains a lot of energy to go into the rack. And we normally would expect this to be cued with a high ball. It's probable that Sam tried to do this with a top spin on the cue ball. He ended up hitting it a little bit lower, and so the cue ball, instead of what we're looking for, the action we're looking for is for the cue ball to either bounce off the rack and go back through it, or bounce off and go to the bottom rail. But because he didn't have a lot of topspin, it just kind of bounced off and stopped there, and that worked out okay too. Controlling the cue ball so it doesn't scratch and stays in the open is one of the primary skills you need to have be a good straight pool player. So he did really well there. Got an easy shot on the 7 ball on the side. Do a little bit of rack analysis real quick. This rack opened up pretty well. It's what I call a semi-clustered rack. You've only got 4 or 5 balls in the rack area, and they're close, but they're not frozen. So there's not a lot of massaging that needs to happen to get these balls open and clear the rack and get on a break shot. You've got 3 balls in the perimeter and 1 up table ball. Why is there always a straggler up table? The universe may never know, but it happens a lot. So we've got to deal with that. There's a potential break ball here on the 4 or the 5. Either one of those are outside of the rack. Either one of those is also a great shot if you get a cut shot like this to pocket in the corner and then open up these balls. So this is really a good situation. Let's take a look and see how Sam handles it. I think he's going to shoot the 7. He's walking over and looking at the angle for these balls. He's trying to see if the 4 and the 5 go past the 1 ball into the corner for this re-break shot, as I mentioned. So he rolls up pretty far. Now I'm pretty sure that the 4 ball is wide open, and he probably has a full pocket to go into these. But he makes a smart decision here. He's looking at it and thinking about it. I haven't paused the video. He's giving it a good think. So even though he could shoot the 4 ball here, why don't we shoot the perimeter ball and go to the 1 and remove it as a blocker? Then both of these balls are wide open to the corner pocket. That's a really good decision. And then notice before he shoots the shot, he went over and took a look at what angle do I want, exactly what angle do I want on these balls. So he doesn't want to be parallel. He wants to be a little bit inside. So he's got a better look at the pocket and a good angle to go in here. I want to point out also that some players might make the choice to do this instead when they shoot this 1. And there's nothing at all wrong with that, because with a shot on the 6, you have lots of options. You can go to the rail and down to here. If you get another angle, you can go to the side rail and over. If you get a different angle, you can go this way. You can get your cue ball back here off from the 6 ball real easily. Then you've got it eliminated, and then all the rest of your work is down table. Players often ask, when's the best time to go up and get that up table ball? The answer is when you have a very controllable and very reliable path to get back down table. This is the ball that you want to get back down table from the 6, because it's close to the rail. It's not out in the open table. So you've got lots of routes. All the routes that I just mentioned, you can also use like this. All 3 of those routes can get you back over here and get position on this ball. So that's not a mistake either. But with this rack, we're really looking at opening this cluster, and a cut shot on one of these balls is the way to do it. So you can do it now and go get this up table ball later, or you can play position for this up table ball and get it, and then get position on those. Sam chooses the former. You really want to decide which one of these you're going to shoot too. And I'm not sure if he chose or if he was just getting the cue ball into that position. From here, you can shoot the 5 or the 4. And based on these angles, I like the 4 ball and leaving the 5. Then your break ball. So he's going to use the 5 as the break ball by shooting the 4 now. And that helps clear the break ball. So you don't have to go back later and clear a ball that's above your break ball. So it's a really good decision. And then just a below center stroke into those balls, hard enough so that the cue ball comes off. You really don't have a specific insurance ball in this case, but there's no way you're not going to come out with a shot there. So now he's got 2 balls into this pocket and a perimeter. And the balls in the center of the table are opened up a little more. And I like the fact that Sam's taken a real good look at how do I want to shoot these balls? What order do I want to shoot these balls in? There's a principle in straight pool that says go to your perimeter balls first and then attack the center. And that's as a general rule, that's okay. But you also want to be able to pick apart the center and use the perimeter balls as insurance balls. So what I'm talking about is that these balls, even though they're sort of kind of open, they all kind of block each other. There's no way to get at these balls because they block each other, except for the 2 ball. You have an opportunity to get at the 2 ball from over here. And that's what Sam notices. So rather than shooting this ball, or maybe he does shoot, I'm not sure what he does. Let's take a look. So I think he's trying to shoot this ball and draw back to get on the 2. But you could also turn around and shoot this ball now to get on the 2. It's 6 to 5 and pick 'em. Which one's going to be better? Okay, so there's a draw stroke to get back over on the 2. Now I can see shooting the 2 ball here. The problem is the cue ball's going this direction. So you're going to think about going to the rail and coming back up and maybe bumping these balls and with this ball here as insurance. I think that's a little risky. It's not necessary. So Sam's thinking over, what he wants to do. Maybe the 9 ball goes in the side and you could just pinch the cue ball over to here. There's lots of things that you could do. So he walked over and looked at the angle over this way. So he's got his mind on shooting that 2 ball, and I would as well, but I think he changes his mind. Like I said, he's got an angle on the 2 ball where the cue ball is going to go this way after shooting the 2. So this is a good decision. Even though he played position for the 2, he wants this angle on the 2, so the cue ball will go this way after shooting the 2. And that's the purpose of shooting that perimeter ball right there. So he's going to leave this one as insurance for whatever he does. And now, what I initially thought he would do here is just roll forward, knock the 9 ball maybe this way. But I like what he does better, because knocking the 9 ball that way, even though it'll open things up, it could come over here and further tie up your break shot. So rather than doing that, he moved the stripe ball up. And that's why I call this, I'm going to pause it real quick. That's why I call this rack of the week, improve the lie. When we talk about bumping balls, and generally you don't want to bump balls later in the rack, but it's okay if you do it strategically and with control, which is what he just did. My idea of bumping the 9 ball forward, you're not going to have a whole lot of control in which direction the 9 ball moves. And it might tie up under the 8. It might tie up your break ball. It might go all the way over here and freeze against the rail. I mean, lots of things can happen. But with the shot that he played, bumping the 12 ball up here, the 12 ball is real close. It's not going to go wrong. So in this case, improving the lie of the balls is great. You're getting that ball up closer to the center table. When that stripe is down here, you're really only going to shoot it in one of 2 pockets, either the corner pockets. But once you move it up here, now it's available to the side pockets and maybe even the upper corner pockets. So you're improving your options later on in the run. And he's going to want to be thinking about an end pattern real soon. Now from here, he's probably going to shoot the 9. You could shoot the 8 ball, but then the 9 doesn't go back here. This is a blocker for the 9. So I like the idea of shooting the 9 now, also because after shooting the 9, then you can shoot the 8. Now, once you've done that, these 2 stripes and this stripe over here in this corner are all open to multiple pockets. So this is great, pattern awareness, situational awareness by Sam. He is a veteran of straight pool even at his young age, which is excellent. I've always said if you want to play great straight pool, you got to play 9 ball. And the reverse is true. If you want to play good 9 ball, you got to play straight pool. Okay, so there's multiple options from here. I'll pause it and talk about it for a second. Obviously, the 5 ball's the break ball. We don't have a great key ball because you want a key ball up here, and we don't have that, and we don't have a K2 to lead to it. So you got to ask yourself, what's the best key ball on the table right now? There isn't a great one. I think the best one is the 6. And for what I mentioned, I already talked about it. The 3 routes that I mentioned can all get you back here to get that angle on the break shot. And you want kind of a parallel angle. In this case, maybe not an inside angle, maybe outside just a little bit, because the break ball's high and towards the top of the rack. So I think the 6 ball is the best key ball. You and any of these other 3 balls down table can get you up probably something around center table so that you can do this or one of those options that I mentioned. The other 2 aren't as great. The 10 ball can work as a key ball. It can work if you have a good K2. And so there is kind of a good K2 with this 14. You want to get an angle a little bit below the shot line so that you can just slide up. You don't have an opportunity to pocket the 10 and go to the rail and come out. So this is really critical. You got to get a really good angle on this 10 ball to slide up for your break shot, or it's not a good key ball. If your cue ball ends up down here, you're out of luck. So that's a tricky situation. And now if you're going to do that, if this is your K2 and this one's your key ball, that means you've got to shoot this ball, come up table, shoot the 6, and then, I don't know, come back over here and shoot this ball in this corner. All that's really difficult and a lot of cue ball movement. So I don't like that. The 10 ball is a key ball for that reason. I would clear these 3 balls. I would probably be looking at shooting. You could go 10. I don't know what ball. Is that the 12? You could shoot this ball, then this one, and then this one and just bounce up. Or you could shoot the 10 and shoot this one and play position for this stripe, maybe in this side. I mean, there's multiple ways to do it, but that's probably the pattern I would be looking at. Sam does something that I like, and I'm going to try and incorporate this more in the game, more into my game. The title of this rack of the week is Improve the Lie, and that's what he does right now. This is way smart. You can do this in 9 ball as well. Let me talk about that for a second. the game of 9-ball, okay? Let's say that this is the 7, this ball's the 8, and this ball's the 9-ball, okay? 7, 8, 9. Little 9-ball lesson here. Obviously, you can shoot the 7, come up here, get an angle on the 8 to use one of those routes that I mentioned to come over here and get straight in on the 9-ball to win the 9-ball game. Okay? But what would a really crafty and clever 9-ball player do? They'd shoot the 7 and bump the 9-ball over to the rail. And then the cue ball is going to go this way on the 7 to give you this angle on the 8. What did I say earlier? When you have an up table ball and you want to get it back down table, you're looking for a ball, like I mentioned, this one over here, that was near the rail. So by bumping the 9-ball over here near the rail, you make it really easy to find after you shoot the 8, because you just go 2 rails. You can get anywhere over here, anywhere, and you've got an excellent shot on the 9. So you see how 9-ball and straight pool can dovetail? Think about that. And that's what Sam does here. Bumps the 5-ball over. So rather than accepting the 5-ball as a side of rack break shot that's close to the rack, he moved it over here, which is also an excellent break shot. Now you can get the cue ball here, and you can use the up table ball, which he doesn't do, but you can use the up table ball now, like I just said, 2 rails, and you're coming off this rail into the position zone of your break shot. And you have a good angle on your break shot if the cue ball stops here or here or here or here or here. And that's why it's an excellent shot. This is really great thinking by Sam. I love it. He doesn't do that, though. He chooses a very unorthodox route. So he's going to use this shot as a natural angle to get up to the up table ball. And I'm thinking, well, Sam, that's no good, because now when you shoot this ball, you really can't go around your break ball to get on the break shot. You've got to go past it to the rail and come out this way. And that's a low percentage shot. So what in the world are you doing, Sam? So he surprised me again. He's going to put the cue ball in the rack. Then he gets ball in hand. And he's looking, okay, yeah, ball in hand. I can put the cue ball wherever I want. Now, he measured that angle, and you might think, oh, no, he's just trying to go one rail and float the cue ball over here. But watch his speed on this shot. No, he's not trying to bring the cue ball over here, I don't think. Maybe this was an accident, maybe not. Maybe Sam will see this video and he'll fess up whether it is or not. I don't think it was. I think he was trying to play the cue ball in the rack. Now, it's close. The cue ball went past the spot, the foot spot, and so Mario's, before he racks the balls, he's looking at whether it's in there. If the rack touches the cue ball when you're placing it into position, and the corners are marked, so Mario's placing it into position. If it even touches the cue ball, then the cue ball is considered in the rack, and Sam gets ball in hand. Whether that was intentional or a fortunate accident, a happy circumstance, it's a great play. It turned out great. And so let me advance this and get Sam over in front of the cue ball. So if you notice, when I talked about this break shot, I said the optimal angle is over here, and it is, if you can get it close to the cue ball in one of these locations. Since Sam's farther away, he's got ball in hand on the head string. He's placing it just a little bit inside of the seagull line or the parallel line, so that he has an inside angle. And the reason why is it's a longer shot, and you want a higher percentage to pocket the ball. So with this angle, he can see the pocket better. But this one's just straight high ball, put some good speed on it, so that hopefully you can get some balls open, get the cue ball to the, well, if with a top spin, it'll go to the bottom rail, but here it kind of stunned off and went up table. He's got a good shot on the 8-ball in the corner pocket to open up the rack. This is a tighter rack. I would call this a clustered rack, not a semi-clustered, meaning you're going to be just a little bit more aggressive at finding a shot to go into these and open them. And he'll probably do it right now, and I think he does, and continues the run. This video, by the way, was captured from digitalpool.com. I'm using it under terms of fair use, for using only a small portion of the video for critique and comment. And in doing so, I also want to recommend digitalpool.com, even though they aren't sponsors in any way of the channel. All of the matches from the 14-1 championship last week in Florida at the International Open were recorded. Every single table had a video camera on it. Thank you for watching. If you're going to play straight pool, play it straight. And I'll see you next week on Rack of the Week. Bye.